Hello guys, I hope the streaming is good today. I'm sorry for yesterday. It I think was a network problem. But if you can hear me good today and if you can see my video well, I think video is not of that importance. But I think if you can hear me well today without any lag, then just give me a thumbs up, and I think we should be good. I see everything is proper today. There's no problem. So it was probably the network issue yesterday. I'm really sorry for that. Okay. So how was the day? How was your day at work? How was your day at in markets? If you've been trading intraday, then I think you had a really good day because there was really some good trends in many stocks, right? And also we discussed many stocks. We can also look at them today, and we'll take it from there. Yeah, I'm getting some good confirmation. Thank you. The audio video is good. Thanks Vijay for that. Thanks Agar. Hi. So I think I started a little early just to see if everything is, if everything is actually good. That's why I started a little early. Hi Dinesh. Hi Devrita. Hey Deepak. Hello. Yeah, so I think yesterday I could not have the session, but there were some really good stocks that we spoke about, and they moved really well in the last couple of days, and even our portfolio did well. One of our holdings, I think Craftsman hit, went up almost 8%, and I think that's just the beginning of the move. I think 2500 is the next stop before we consolidate and probably head higher. Okay, but a lot of stocks are looking really good. I think this market has no mood to give a good correction since that breakout in August, which has been going up and up. It's been 2 months and really good moves in the markets without any deep correction. It's really good signs. I hope you're still holding to your investments and hope we are riding the trend. Hey Naresh, good evening. Okay, so let's get started with today's session. So as usual, let's start with Nifty. So Nifty had an amazing day. I think we've had one of the biggest candles in recent times. I think after this day, I think we had a really good candle today. But if you see off late, the rally is getting really steep, right? So after this breakout in August, we've been having a very steep rally, and that's just been too good. And I think we are headed much higher from here before we even think of having a correction. But one thing to notice is, I think of all the rallies till now, I think this rally has been really steep, and this is really picking up pace. And there is an important trend line that we spoke about the other day. That is the trend line that we're looking at. And until we don't break this trend line, I don't see any short to medium corrections. Probably a short term correction, a few hundred points, but the long term correction, I think, is nowhere near. We need to at least break one of the swing lows either on the daily charts or on the weekly charts to even have a good confirmation. But for now, 17,200 levels to 250 level is a very strong support, and I don't see the markets going any lower. Okay, so we've been having a good run till now. So just looking at the views that we spoke about in the previous session, yesterday we could not speak, but we did speak about this level as resistance. And if you see many times what happens is some kind of these strong resistance are taken out with a gap, and we've seen many such examples in the past. So whenever there's a massive resistance, like this, and then it takes out of the gap, then this non-stop rally happens. You can go back and refer to the charts. Nifty, just go back and look at some major resistances. You will see sometimes such resistance are taken out of the gap, and we've had a very good trending day right from starting. Today was expiry day. A lot of people would have made some really good money. So even if you had bought something like a 650 call in the money call, you'd have still made some good 100 to 150 points today. But it wasn't easy, right? Because there were dips, strong dips here and here. Probably you'd have exited, but it's okay until you're not losing money. That doesn't really matter, right? So everything is really good. Yeah, I see a lot of people saying, "Hey Naresh, hey Kumragari." I will come back to your questions shortly, but I think the trend is clearly up, right? So we also spoke about this as a consolidation phase, and since then markets have just been going up, and I think this is a clear uptrend, right? So we've been forming higher lows, clear higher lows. There's not been a single consolidation or lower highs forming. So we've had every consolidation breakout led to a good rally, I think. But tomorrow we might not have this rally continuing, but tomorrow probably markets will consolidate, But now I think the previous all-time high around could act as a very strong support. So if you see this all-time high over here, you kind of try to break out and retest and bend high. So tomorrow any dip towards 17,790 odd levels, or even towards 17,780 could be a good buying levels to go long. So until 17,740 is not taken out, I don't see a problem in this market. Short term at least, there will not be probably any corrections, and we might also this is also a trend line that we can look at. It has just 2 touch points, but that's a good trend line to look at, and we might, if we correct, probably we are heading towards this level. Okay, so any dips towards 17,780 with stop at 17,740 could be a buy, but if we go below 17,740, which is this low over here, then probably heading lower towards 17,683. Right, so I don't think this gap would fill anytime soon, probably a couple of weeks before the gap fills. Okay, so I think all good. That's the plan for Nifty tomorrow. Okay, now let's look at our portfolio before we jump. I don't want to take much time on others. So our portfolio has done well again. We've been up around 1.17%, mainly led by TATALXSI and Craftsman. TATALXSI is also up 30%. We've had a next mover now, so this is picking up pace. I'll probably move the VIP money from here to Craftsman once we have probably a decent consolidation. Right now our stop loss is still at the same place. I have not moved it yet. Probably one consolidation, a dip in the hourly charts, or probably in the daily charts we have a dip, then probably we can think of moving the money from VIP Industries to Craftsman, right? But for now, yeah, it looks good. So LXCHEM is good still. I don't see a problem yet. It has you will see probably some more days of consolidation, because this is a first dip, and after the first dip there'll always be a first leg rise, and then probably we might come down a little bit more and then probably head higher, right? But for now I think if you want a pyramid above 585, so that should be the level for you to pyramid 585, and probably keep a stop at 540 levels in case you want to. But in our portfolio we will not be pyramiding. Okay, so that's the plan. TATALXSI again is good. It is forming inside bars after that big day. It is forming inside bars, but a good day with good volumes. So it's just some selling pressure right on the top, around the 5,800 levels. So it might take some more time, but I just want this high to be crossed, 5,900 to be crossed, and then I'd probably move my stop to 5,400 levels, or even to 5,350 levels. Okay, for now our stop remains at 5,000. There's no change on that front. Anuras had a dip day. We're kind of around the trend line support. I feel we are around there. I think probably it's contracting, and the contraction is getting really strong now, and this is probably going to lead to an expansion. We all know that by now. So if you see after this week, we've just been going sideways, right? There has been some attempts to move higher, but that attempt has failed. So we've been almost consolidating for almost 7 weeks. So 1 2 3 4 for 7 weeks, with 2 attempts to move higher, but there's no sign of the stock going lower. So tomorrow could be probably an important day. So tomorrow we shouldn't break the levels of 730. Remember, our stop loss is around 730, right? So if we go below 730, then we are out of the stock, and probably we move that money to Craftsman or some other stock. Okay, but for now, nothing to do. Keep holding. It looks good. Craftsman has had finally a good move. We added on that day just because of trendline reversal, right? Now this is what I tell you. You have to follow setups. You have to buy. If you are a pullback trader, then you have to probably look for such setups like this, and buy those setups. Have conviction and go ahead and buy. Now, one thing that this stock can probably do is head towards 2064, correct probably. If it does a retest towards 2064, then probably we can add again when it moves higher. But that's the level I'd be watching for. But I don't see that stock now hitting our stop loss anytime soon. Now, also the volumes have been pretty good today, and I think this stock is heading towards 2500, right, which is the upper channel of this is the level I'm looking at, 2500, and probably we might head higher as well. No one knows, but we can still consolidate like this and keep heading higher towards levels of 3000 as well. But this is a fantastic company. It's a newly listed company, so there will be a lot of interest in acquiring the stock, so it can head higher from here. Okay, the VIP Industries, we have a very small allocation, but it is forming good. It is forming kind of a rising wedge, so it might take some more time to break out, but I think that's a clear resistance. So we need to have probably head to above 500 and have a closing above 500, then we might see some really good strength, or 510 above, right? But for now, nothing to worry, just keep holding. Your stop loss is pretty close, around 470, so nothing much to lose there, right? So it's just probably around 549 rupees, 0.5% of your capital, so nothing much to worry there. Bank Nifty, I'm not getting into it, but Bank Nifty, as I said, or previously said, it has very good strength. Now we spoke about a couple of stocks in the last session, right? So on this day On 21st September, I clearly mentioned that McDowell is a very good stock. It can give a breakout and all that. But I also covered this newsletter some time back when it was around, I think, when it kind of was around 630 levels, right? So finally, it has given a very solid breakout. Now all bearish trend lines have been broken out. All-time high has been taken out. So many people said breakout here. I call this as a breakout here, but many people said this is a breakout. Many people said it could face resistance around 800 levels, right? But for now, everything has been taken out. It is in fresh high. Now from here, you need to look at any opportunity to buy and keep pyramiding the stock. Now, if you're holding to the stock, move your stop loss to 728 or 725, or if you want to be conservative, then go to the weekly chart, because this is a multi-bagger and you can probably keep 725. It's still a low, but if you want to conservative, then 628 can be your stop loss. That's a very, very good support. Okay, 628, because we had a breakout here, right? That was retest, and then we had this massive move up. But for now, this is really going to be a multi-bagger, probably 2x from here or 3x. But remember the levels I said, the levels of 2300 is waiting. That's almost 3x from here, and that might not come immediately in the next 1 or 2 years. Probably it might take 3 to 5 years. But if you have the patience, a safe stock, a big company, the company has good plans, and go and read the fundamentals, go and read my newsletter, you might find the fundamental reasoning. We also spoke about ITC. ITC is continuing to do well. The last bearish trend line is that one, and I think we are facing resistance around that point. If you see exactly, we formed a doji, and now we are forming a reversal. Now if you go below 240 levels, then probably we are correcting for a few days, and we might probably head to this trend line over here around 230 levels, right? 238 levels. So if you get around 238, ITC also is a good buy, and momentum is strongly in ITC now. You don't have to think twice. I think this also, if you see this contraction here, we've had a similar contraction also in many stocks that we have seen, right? So contraction always leads to an expansion. It doesn't matter if people criticize ITC or not. All you need to do is follow your process. So your first buy should have been 217. If not, just wait for this correction and then probably add more, and then keep pyramiding the stock. Okay, network 18 is not doing much, but I still feel this is again a contraction, right? But the volumes of last 2 weeks have been good. It's just a matter of time. The media stocks are doing fantastic. Zeal, or for that matter, many media stocks are doing well. But I think it's just about time before this also breaks out. And remember, the moment it breaks out, it's going to give a very quick 50% move, at least I feel, in a couple of months. And this can also do well. Remember, this is a long-term consolidation since 2014. It's just been going sideways, and there's been a tight contraction in the monthly charts, quarterly charts, or charts. We also spoke about Inox Leisure the other day. Again, this is the same kind of contraction which I'm talking about. So this is just done a retest today. It is just a retest. So probably it might head higher again tomorrow. So you might want to look at this. This is also inverted head and shoulders breakout. We spoke about this on this day, and it also had given a nice breakout, right? So PVR again had a very good move yesterday. All these stocks are, probably there's some rotation happening, and these are new stocks which are starting to perform well. So place yourself in the right stocks, you might actually make some money. So also Motilal Oswal has given a breakout today with good volumes. So now it's a very low risk trade. Stop loss is just 796. That's probably 80 points. That's less than 10% stop, and you can probably see 1200 levels again. Okay. So Canfin Home also I spoke about. Again, this is just got rejected today right around all-time high, but I think it's just a matter of time before this also heads higher. Okay, Home First, we spoke about the symmetrical triangle, right? We spoke about this triangle here, and you see we had a breakout today. Again, it's formed a new higher high, and now we have amazing volumes, and this also can head higher, right? So we spoke about this exactly on 21st of September, and we've had consecutive 2 days of good move, right? So don't forget to keep these stocks in a watch list. You might want to add them. They can do really well. Menki also is just going sideways. If you see, it's not correcting. Here again, the stop loss is very less. You might also want to consider this. Okay, a few more stocks which I've added in the watch list. So this is something new that I'm trying to do for you, so that you are, what stocks to focus on. I don't have the time to post them on Twitter because it takes time. But this is a nice inverted head and shoulders pattern, and probably Page Industries also can head higher from here. Astral also looks good. Again, it's consolidating. It had a trendline reversal, right from there. You see on the linear charts, it had a trendline reversal on this day, and it's just about time, probably a couple of days. This also might blast from here. PEL, or Pyramid Enterprises, again, this has been a tight 4 weeks, 5 week consolidation, and you see the beautiful setup, right? Now that's called a proper shakeout, and I think we are not going below this again, and this also can head to all-time highs again. We are going to see probably 3000 levels very soon, and even higher in the coming months and years. Okay, so next one is Jubilant Foods. I've added this as well. Again, a tight consolidation happening, right around that point. This also has seen not much movement today, but I think this also can break out. It's also cup and handle pattern, right? Bata is another stock. It's a trendline reversal here, right? It's just correcting on the today. It was just correcting because and it kind of reversed from the trend line. I'll just show you that in the short-term charts. You can watch that. Right, so if you draw this trend line, it kind of touches. Oops, where that went? Yeah. So it's kind of reversing from the trend line, and we had good volumes in the last few minutes. And I think this also might head higher from here, right? So what is happening here is just consolidating around the previous all-time highs, right? So if you see the previous all-time is around 1800, and it's just consolidating around that levels. So it is just also about a matter of time before this heads higher. It's almost 1 month here around the zone, and I think the consolidation is done because of this trendline reversal. We had a nice, doji with the closing right on the top edge of the candle. Also looks good. We had a similar kind of candle here, and we moved higher, right? So it's just a matter of time before this also moves. Another stock is Britannia. Again, F&O stock, if you're really interested. We're right around the trendline support. Again, we had a dip today towards that lows, but we kind of reversed. So that's again signs of reversal. Probably in a couple of days, we are going to break out from here and again head towards 4,200 levels and then all-time highs again. Okay, so that's the update I wanted to give on the stocks that I'm tracking. There is no update on the stop losses yet, but the sheet has been updated with all. So as of today, even if all our stops hit, we'll be up 10%. Our portfolio is up 17% as of today, or 18%. But if our stops hit, then even then we are around 10% in profits overall, right? So we are not losing money. Remember, all you need to do is manage risk, and money will follow, right? I'm just showing the equity the equity curve. So we started off with 1 lakh. We went all the way up to 1,18,700 rupees, and we're kind of stagnating there. And I think we might move higher again. But it's just about patience. You'll have few days sideways and few days good moves, and I think we are going to cross 20%. So excited for that. So if you're investing in any of the stocks, if you've invested in any of the stocks that we discussed, do let me know in the comment section. If you have any doubts, we can also look at that. Okay. Yeah. So let's look at the stocks. If you have questions, okay. Naresh is saying, I saw people talking about RSI breakout. Can you please explain? I know maybe I can explain you that, but I don't really use that. It can be done on any indicator, but I feel that it's just if it indicates momentum is breaking out, but for me it's finally the price. I don't care whether the indicator breaks out or not. It's a good way to identify that. But for example, I'll tell you here, right? Let's take this example of the stock. Now Britannia had this downward move, right? So if I draw a trend line like this, we had a breakout here, right? A trend line breakout was in this candle, right? But also notice that you will also observe that in the price itself, right? So price, we had a breakout here with good volumes. So that's what people say as a RSA breakout or CCA breakout or any MACD breakout. A lot of people draw such trend lines, but on the indicator, I also drew such things in the past, but I feel that it's not required, to be honest, right? But for example, here if you see, we had a trend line breakdown of the CCI, but then the stock just kept moving higher. So it's finally a stock which you need to look at and not the indicator. So I'd prefer you to use indicators to understand what the stock is doing, but don't rely completely on them and don't take decisions based on them. You need to take a decision based on the price finally. If you're taking decisions based on indicators, it might help you in some time, but finally if the price doesn't confirm, then you might hit few stop losses, and sticking to the price might really help. Okay, so that's my view. Ashok is asking views on PVR and Sun TV, and PVR looks fantastic. So PVR had an amazing breakout after this consolidation. Now this is what exactly I'm talking about, about contractions, right? Now if you go to the weekly time frame, you will see that the stock has been since July just been going sideways. That's total price contraction. There's nothing been happening, and the stock gave an amazing breakout since that point, right? Now it has given a breakout. I think levels of it's just facing resistance around this previous high around 1480 levels. I think it's just a matter of time before it heads higher again. But fantastic. This chart is a fantastic chart. In fact, it looks really good on long-term charts. And some people might say I'm drawing parallel channels always. I draw parallel channels only when I see multiple touch points, right? So I think this stock is clearly, headed towards 3,000, 4,000 levels in the coming years. Probably next 3-4 years, 5 years probably. This is a long-term bet. Clearly, your stop loss is 1,300 for long-term, 1,000 to 80 probably, and you can look for targets of 4,000 and even higher levels in the coming years, right? This is what exactly happens, right? So after this, you see the stock going higher and keeps heading higher. So from investment perspective, I think this is back now. You can really look into the stock. It has momentum, it has volumes, everything is in place. It does look really good. Long-term stop loss is 1280, which is this low, right? If you're a short-term trader, then probably don't enter right now. Just wait for some consolidation and enter. Okay, so that's my view on PVR. Sun TV also, I think, is picking up now, but the stock actually expected a breakout long back, but I think it's just time now. Since all media stocks are picking up, even this will pick up shortly. So it is also forming a complex inverted head and shoulders, right? So this is the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. I expected a breakout here, but then it's just morphing more and more. But if you see, every low is higher than the previous low. So this was a previous low, then we had a higher low, then we again have a higher low on the weekly charts, and we had multiple dojis. Last 4 weeks there was dojis consolidation. Now we're having a big green candle. So again, it looks good. Keep a stop loss around 470 odd, and this also can be looked at long term perspective. It can probably head back to 1,000 levels in the coming years or even higher, right? So that's my view on Sun TV and PVR. Ashok, hi Vilash. Zerodha asking my view on Phoenix Mills and Coal India. I've not been tracking Phoenix Mills, but Coal India does look good. Yeah, Phoenix Mill also is consolidating around the all-time highs. This is a usual phenomenon which happens in stocks around all-time highs. There's always consolidation, but I think this consolidation is now over. We've been consolidating since the month of May, and I think this is now complete, and it's time to break out this month. It looks fantastic. I think the entire real estate stocks look fantastic. One can actually buy the stock right now, with a stop of 820. Okay, so that's my view on Phoenix Mills. Coal India. Sorry, it's the futures, right? I think Coal India has one bearish trend line, which I'm looking at. So that's the bearish trend line. Probably, once it crosses levels of 190, 200, it can probably break out and head further. But I think for now, it has broken out, probably from the base, right? But I'm still not comfortable buying the stock. Probably I'll buy the stock, above 215 levels. Okay, that's when you have all resistance, long-term resistance breaking out, and then it also is making a new higher high on the it's crossing its previous high, lower high as well, right? So that's my view on Coal India. It has a lot of people have written off the stock, but I think if it crosses 215 levels, then probably it's going to see all-time highs again. It's a very good stock from a dividend perspective, but remember, dividend is not the only thing that you want in markets. You want capital gains as well. Okay, Amarjit, Tech Mahindra looks excellent. It had an amazing breakout this week. Today, in fact, yesterday, in fact, if you see, this is what you call a Darvas box, right? So it's a perfect Darvas box, and now your stop loss, now moves to 1400. You can buy now. It does look fantastic, and I think the IT space, even Infi did really well today. Infi also had a nice breakout. The entire IT space is again looking good. Infi, the downtrend has broken out. We had a trend line reversal kind of sorts here around this point, right? And it's kind of a spike down below, right? But we had trend line reversal, and we had this few weeks of consolidation, and now I think it's all set to head higher. The only thing is here volumes are not that great, but I think it has crossed the previous highs. Volumes might pick up above 750 also. Okay, so both TechM looks good also, and this also looks good, Amarjit. You can go ahead and buy the stock in case you're looking to buy. Okay, hey Suman. Kumaragiri, we never exit stocks looking at candles. I already told you this. Many stocks can have such patterns. For example, I'll also show you United Spirits, right? United Spirits also had such a candle, but it's just a short-term trend, right? So we had this candle here, right? We had 2 days sell off, and then we had consolidation, and we had good moves. So if a stock is at all-time highs, never, or 52-week, it's making new 52-week high continuously, never sell that stock. Try to trail it with a swing low, right? So your stop loss from here is first here, then it moves here, now it moves here, right, after this breakout. So try to keep trailing, never exit the stock. Try to hold it, but if you're really feeling stuck, then try to reduce the positions and add on again when it breaks through again. Okay, hey Suhas. Anirudh, I'm not a swing trader. I think I already clarified this, but I can give you my view on Phillips Carbon. Yeah, Phillips Carbon is just consolidating probably. Yes, it can break out. I'd buy probably above levels of 250, 260, with a stop around, even 240 odd, stop. And they probably look for targets of 275 odd. Okay, it can be considered for swing trade, but not a perfect setup like I would like. Motilal Oswal is probably a good swing trade. Okay, I want perfect setups. I just don't trade any random stocks. If the setup is perfect, I trade it. Okay, but this also looks good. It is trying to cross the previous highs. It is first attempt, probably another couple of days, and it would also move higher. Okay, so both could be considered for swing trade. Just define a stop loss. Here in this case, it's 260, 5 odd. Okay. Thanks. Someone said, I'd like to know your name. Doing a great job and love the weekly picks. Yes, last 2 weeks, I'm sorry I couldn't send the newsletter because I was on vacation, but I'll probably send it again this week. Yeah, definitely. Suven Pharma, yes, Suhas, I did recommend Suven Pharma in my newsletter also. In one of the newsletters sometime back. It is a very good setup. We had a major, reversal here, and it's probably again retesting that, trendline support, right? So just close to the trendline support, and this is an excellent stock to be invested in, excellent fundamentals. It is just a matter of time, as I always say. Probably the trendline breakout is already done, right? So today was the first time it has moved out of the trend line. So which means now probably it might not test the lows of 510, but keep a stop loss at 510, and probably it can head higher. Okay, but the real momentum is above 545. So if you want to don't lose, probably next couple of days it can consolidate. So keep a buy stop above 545 with a stop at 510, and you can look for higher targets. Okay, but this stock is a very good stock. It is in a continuous higher low. Okay, can you look at Indian and JK Bank? Fundamentals are good, but not moving much. I don't really track fundamentals so close, but I can check. Indian Bank it's all PSUs have a lot of resistance on the higher levels, right? So yeah, right. So this is the chart I've drawn. So that's a bearish trend line, and it's just about to break out, right? So you just have to probably wait for a few more days or a couple of weeks probably. Right, keep a stop at 115 this low, but I think this is not valid anymore. I think it moved some time back. But that's a nice cup, and probably we might have a handle here, right? So this could be the handle. Sorry, just a minute. So this could be a deep handle probably. Handle could be even smaller, or probably it could form a VCP, right? So we could have one more move down, and then probably we can form a VCP also. Who knows? But for now, the stock just needs to cross above 145 levels, and then you can see momentum in the stock. It's just a matter of time. It's clearly forming higher lows on the weekly chart, and also the monthly charts, daily charts. So you can look for targets of around 200 levels, probably a couple of more weeks, and can head higher. But that's a perfect bearish trend line. It just needs to cross. It's just facing resistance around that level. Okay, J&K Bank, Jammu and Kashmir Bank. Let's look at it. Again, yeah, I have lines drawn again already. Again, if you see, this is a perfect bearish trend line. Now, this is the reason, if you go back to Coal India, if you just do a playback, the reason why I said Coal India I would not buy right now is because of this. Right? You see how beautifully in Indian Bank and in Jammu and Kashmir Bank, the trend line is respected so beautifully, right? And now same thing can happen in Coal India, and I can go sideways for some more time. So the momentum really picks up when all the resistance are broken, right? So this resistance needs to be taken out. So if I'm looking at investing in Jammu J&K Bank, I'd probably look at only above 44, 45 levels. Until then, I not even look at this stock, right? So always look at trend lines, horizontal supports, and they would really give you a good idea on what the stock is doing. And you would probably, be not wasting your time in a stock which is not moving, right? So you look at a stock after it kind of, breaks out from trend lines, and all that. But this probably, here, if you want, you can keep a buy stop even above 40 levels. It is right around this trend line. If you see this trend line again here is beautifully respecting. Now that's the reason why I love trend lines, because sometimes when it works really well. And these kind of fast moves, and then they correct and reverse from trend lines, and that's a very good opportunity to do a good swing trade. So if you're doing swing trades instead of breakouts, look for pullbacks, and they might work out really well, right? And then look for confluences, right? So this is a confluence zone, right? So this is a trend line confluence plus a horizontal support confluence. So when there are two resistances or supports coinciding, that would really act as a very good support zone. We've seen this in multiple stocks over my sessions, so do follow that. But yeah, the momentum is still momentum pick up on these two stocks only when the trend lines break out. Okay, Suhas is asking me on ISEC. I think Motilal Oswal, Angel Broking, ISEC, all these are setting up beautifully, right? So I think this is a chart that I drew some time back. It had a breakdown and just went into consolidation mode. It is setting up very beautifully, Suhas. I totally agree. I think it's probably a symmetrical, triangle in formation. It just needs to cross and break out above 775 levels, and we can see much higher levels. But this entire space is looking good, right? So Motilal Oswal has already given a breakout. Angel Broking is kind of consolidating. Now, even ICICI, if you go to the weekly time frame, you will see it just consolidating, right? It's a beautiful consolidation. I love to see such consolidations because this is just after this massive move, people book profits and it just goes sideways and then it'll move higher. So you just need some patience. Okay, Angel Broking also is a good setup. I'm sorry. Angel Broking, I'm sorry. Right, so Angel Broking also, if you see, it's doing the same kind of a pattern. We had a trendline support reversal. I did recommend this in newsletter when we had a trendline reversal here, and this is also almost done. So this is a brilliant setup, right? So you see, we've just touched the trend line and we're again reversing, and nice volume. So tomorrow, all you have to do is just place a buy stop above 1323, and you can look for higher targets here. So remember, this is a very it's an amazing setup. 1320 is your buy stop with a stop at 1320 is a buy stop with a stop at 1180, right? A very small risk. Or you can go even now, you can buy even now with a stop at 1180, right? So that's just a 60-point stop, a 5% stop, probably for a much higher targets, right? I love looking at such kind of setups. Also, when you look at some stocks, like you mentioned ICICI Securities, also start thinking about the stocks in a similar, what are other stocks in a similar sector, and you might find similar setups in other stocks as well. So just find the strongest stock, in this case, Angel Broking is the strongest stock, then just buy it and hold it, right? It's as simple as that. Okay, Venus Remedies, I know Jubilant Ingredient, Binay is asking. Venus. Yeah, this also is reversing today. I think the consolidation is done. It's just reversing right from support. Again, here, if you're not invested already, then just keep a buy stop of 515, the stop at 450, right? Otherwise, you can even enter now if you're an aggressive trader and keep a stop at 450, which is just 18-point stop. That's a 4.5% stop loss. Okay, so that's my view. Jubilant Ingrevia. I think this is just consolidating. This is going to give a very good move. I'm just waiting for that day when it gives a good move, because if you see again, this is forming contraction, a very strong contraction on the daily charts, right? So this is how it has been going. So every time it goes higher, the drop is getting smaller, right? So that's what you call a perfect VCP. Now all you need to do is just wait for this to break out and enjoy the ride, right? So this can probably head higher. Again, a nice trendline reversal setup. I just need to have some patience, and this can do a good job, right? It's not forming low high lower lows. It's stop loss also. You can revise stop loss to 730 if you're aggressive also. Otherwise, keep your stop loss around 690. Okay, that's my view. Okay, Escorts and HL9 is asking. Okay, let's look at Escorts. Okay, Escorts is very good, right? So it has a very strong uptrend. So if you short-term trader, keep a stop at 1400, this low, and it's just probably heading much higher also. I'm just looking at the monthly charts. Yeah, it's almost close to all-time high, right? So it just needs it can head much higher from here, right? So any dips towards the levels of this can be bought, right, which is the retest probably, and you keep a stop loss around 1400 levels. Okay, so that's my view. HAL, I think HAL also is good. I think we've spoken about the stock multiple times. They're just consolidating after around the all-time high, right? So the stop continues to be around 1300 levels, and just buy more in case it breaks out higher. It looks good also. Crisil and Steelcast have been doing well. Good for more, your view. I think Sagar, if it's doing well, the rule is simple. Trail your stop loss. Now your stop loss is 600 for Crisil. It has given very good moves in the last 2 days. New all-time highs. This is what is happening in Jubilant Ingrevia. So we could see a very good move there as well. So yeah, your stop loss for this is 600 now, Sagar. So trail your stop loss now for that. It can do much higher. We never know when this bull market is going to end. So just enjoy the good picks that you have. It's simple as that. Even this is doing well. Now your stop loss here is very confirmed, 200 levels. If it goes below 200, just get out. It seems like a illiquid stock, but this also is good one. Okay. Vivek is asking Laurus Labs. So Laurus Lab also is a good stock. I think it has been correcting for the last few days, but until this level is not taken out, 580 levels, I think this is a good consolidation, and it's just broken down a short-term breakdown. But I think until 580 is not taken down, or until 575, keep this swing low, and until we don't go below that, I'm totally fine with stock. It can again bounce back. It's just probably some time before it bounces back. Okay, but stop loss is 570. Is India Mart exit a continue to hold? I think Kumaragarhi, you've been there for quite some time. I think you should give me that answer. It's a hold, right? There's no reason for it to exit. It has had a very excellent breakout. This is the consolidation we spoke about, and I've been also recommending. I recommended this newsletter sometime back here in July, and now it has given a good move. It is forming kind of a doji on the weekly bar. The consolidation is over probably, and it's just probably some time, and it can head higher. It is just given a breakout, so try to hold these stocks. These stocks can do really well, and these are momentum stocks. India Mart is one of the stocks, one of most loved stocks. So continue to hold. It's just forming probably a inverted head and shoulder. So that's the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder probably. Okay, continue to hold India Mart. How do we start fresh from scratch, and how do we get the watch list? Are you using charting for watch list? Yes, just keep following me on my daily sessions, Abhilash. You will understand how I scan stocks and everything. Start scratch. Look at the stocks that we're holding. Start scratch. Look at the sheet that we're having, and then if the levels are close, then buy them. Akash, view on Petronet, GT trigger of 236, but it is a resistance zone. Can it head higher? Yes. If it has broken out, obviously it can head higher, right? So let's look at it quickly. Yeah, it has kind of broken out. I think it can head higher, right? So probably tomorrow's the day. Probably it will go higher, but stop loss now remains around 225. Keep a stop around 225, and just hold it. Maybe it heads higher from here. Okay, but it's in a very strong downtrend. That's what I'm seeing. No, it's not a down. It's in a consolidation phase, right? So if you see this has a very strong support. The lows are not broken, right? So the lows are still not lower lows. Only the highs are lows. Highs are lower highs. The lows are still one above the other. This is almost the same level, right? So I'd not say it's in a downtrend. It's in a consolidation phase, and it can head higher from here. So probably this is the week for this. Next month could be the month for Petronet. Okay, so let's see what it does. Okay, and this is the trend line that you want to watch. Tomorrow, if you go above this trend line, then this could be the stock that you want to watch for October. Okay, this is one of the stocks. Delta Corp, Vivek is again asking Delta Corp, again an excellent stock. It is in strong momentum. I think we spoke about this in the previous session. It's just going sideways consolidation, right? We spoke about this downtrend channel breakout. You see this breakout here and then a consolidation, and now this is a fresh momentum, right? So the momentum is really strong. It can head to all-time highs again, probably give it a year or so, or probably a couple of years. The volumes have been fantastic, and I think this also can do well. If you're holding right now, a stop loss is at 165, but once it breaks this level, then you can move a stop loss to 220 odd. Okay. Yeah, EIH hotels is Nadesh is asking EIH hotels. Wow, excellent. I think the entire hotel space is looking really good, right? So we've been having some really, so this was a symmetrical triangle breakout, then a failure came down. So again, it is broken out from this level here. So it can really head high now. Momentum is back in the stock, and I think probably 200 levels can be seen in the stock in the coming next 1 year or so, right? So not a perfect channel, but I think I'll ignore this for now. But I think levels of 210 can be seen, and above that it can double or triple. No one knows. Remember, these stocks are in long-term consolidations. That's more than 12-13 year consolidations. A breakout from here can be excellent. So if you're holding, continue to hold these stocks with a stop loss. Now in this case, your stop loss should be around 100 odd level, and just give it some time. It can do really well. Okay. You can use both, Akash. There's no see. I check in which scale that trend line fits, so it's very subjective. So if sometimes I use log scale, sometimes I use linear scale. It's very subjective, so always check in both. So I check in both, and whichever trend line fits better, I use that one. Okay, so that's my simple. DLF is a fantastic breakout, Arun. You can also look at DLF. It has given a very last 2 days were fantastic, amazing moves. It gave a breakout pretty back. I think some months back, not now. The breakout came in the month of Feb, right, and then it consolidated for a few months, and now it's just moving higher. It looks very good. You can consider this stock. Okay, Narayana Hrudalaya is facing some resistance. I've been looking at the stock as well. It was facing some resistance, but now I think it is setting up nicely. Thanks for bringing this to my notice. I not looked at the stock for some time, but I think now it is setting up. So probably time for this to perform now. Okay, it's just every time it goes high, it just faces some selling pressure. A very slow mover, but I think it can start performing once it crosses above 560 levels. Okay. Christian is asking, Bajaj Holding gave a breakout. Are there many major resistances that to watch out for? I think once a breakout happens, don't look at resistances. That's a very bad way to look at stocks, because you are biased and you might think and you might sell that stock at that point. Right now, this has given a fantastic breakout around this point. Now, all you have to do is just ride the trend. If you're holding a good stock, if it's moving fast, if it's near all-time highs, just hold it, right, and keep a stop around 40 to 50. And just continue holding it. You should not be looking at selling those stocks. Otherwise, you'll miss on some of really good stocks. So let the markets decide which stock is good and which stock you should move out. So that should be your plan. Okay, Akshay is asking Lalpath Labs and Bajaj Auto. I think Lalpath Lab is about to break out. I just had a look at the stock today. It has tested around the previous resistance. So probably this is the trend line, right? So it has. Now in this case, see, moment I see, I'm on the log scale. The moment I see there's a breakdown, I check on the linear scale. If the linear scale fits, right? Now when I draw the linear scale, I perfectly see that it has reversed from the trend line, right? Now that's how I do it, Akash. So in case you want to understand, I first always draw on log scale, and if there's a breakdown, then I check on linear scale if there's a breakdown as well. Only when there's a breakdown on both, then that's when I kind of go bearish a little bit. I kind of try to reduce my positions, but in this it's fantastic. It has reversed perfectly from the trend line. It can head higher from here. Okay, again, a good stock, even from fundamental perspective. Okay, Bajaj Auto. Bajaj Auto is still facing some resistance. It just needs to break out, go above levels of 3,890. So that's level I'd be watching out for. Only then it will pick a momentum. Otherwise, it just can go sideways for some more time. Not interested in the stock at this point when there are so many other stocks to look at. So yeah, it's in a downtrend. Short-term downtrend is also down. So yeah, look at strong stocks. Don't waste your time on these stocks until it doesn't cross about 338 or 3,900. I'd not be interested in this. Okay. Okay, Royal Orchard, Sachin is asking. I think, as I mentioned, the entire hotel space is looking good. Indigo is looking good. Maybe it's because restaurants, everything is opening up properly. This is a fantastic breakout. I love inverted head and shoulders breakouts. These are my favorite setups. It is my most important setup. It has a fantastic move today. It has amazing volumes. What else do you need, right? So you can look for targets, of 160 in the short term, probably in the next 6 months. So your stop loss, if you want, you can keep around 78 levels. Okay, good stock. That's given a good breakout. Okay, so I was asking about Supreme Petro. I think, yeah, the entire petrochemical stocks are good, but they've been going into consolidation for quite some time because they've had such amazing moves. And this is a long-term consolidation. It's been consolidating since April, right? Now, if you see, this is a trend line that I'm looking at, right? So this is on the log scale. Now, the moment I see on the log scale, I see that it's a perfect trend line reversal, right? Now, all I need to do is just keep a buy stop over 720, and ride the trend. Let's see where it goes, right? And also, if you draw this, trend line, it's coming out of the trend line. Now, just keep a buy stop over 720, with a stop around 680, right? That's 50-point stop, and you can probably see targets of 800 and even higher. Okay, so that's how I look at stocks. The moment first seen log scale, it's a perfect trend line, textbook trend line reversals. It is a very significant trend line and is reversing. It has broken out trend line. Just keep a buy stop above 720. Okay, Manfra seems to be at all-time high. Can you give a comment? Sai is asking. Man Infra. This is just an uptrend, right? So I don't think there's anything that you want to look at. Just hold it. Stop loss should be 80 levels. or if you're a little conservative and if you want to hold long term, probably 60 is your stop loss. And yeah, it's in a very strong uptrend. Continue to hold this. Okay, so that's my one mantra. I think I've answered all your questions, guys. Thank you for joining. I'm really sorry for yesterday again, but otherwise, I hope you're enjoying my views. What I'd like from you is to, let me know on Twitter. A lot of people keep posting that people have benefited. So if you're really taking my stock advices, do let me know on Twitter if you make money, and if you want any help regarding any stop losses, join me on this session every day, or watch the videos next day, or tag me on Twitter and ask me. I'd be more than happy to answer your questions on any stock recommendations. But as usual, don't forget to hit the like button. I think someone already mentioned that. Like this video before you drop off, and do share this video with your friends. A lot of stocks we discuss every day, and I also started sharing my watch list with you. If that's helpful, do let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I would stop, discussing my watch list stocks, and I'll just focus on your stocks. And I have a lot of process behind how I select stocks, so I hope I can continue doing that. Otherwise, I think I'm done for today. I hope you'll have a good evening, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you, and always keep in mind risk management is the only focus for us in trading. Rest money will follow. Okay, so that's it. Thank you, and have a nice evening, and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.